North Dakota and South Dakota. To most, they are the empty heart of the Great Plains. But look closer and you'll find geography that defies reality. A lake that tripled in size, swallowing entire towns. A subterranean labyrinth that literally breathes air. And a mountain peak that serves as the highest point east of the Rockies. You may think you know this landscape, but these two states hold secrets buried deep within the soil and stone. Today, we explore the most striking geographical facts of the Dakotas. Facts that will change your perception of the American frontier forever. Fact 26, the immense flooded expanse of Lake Oahe. Stretching for 231 miles from central South Dakota all the way into North Dakota, Lake Oahe is a giant created by human hands. This isn't just a reservoir, it's a transformation of the earth. When the Oahe Dam was built in the 1960s, it flooded over 300,000 acres of land. This project didn't just move soil, it permanently altered the Standing Rock and Cheyenne River Sioux reservations, drowning ancestral timberlands and sacred sites. Today, the water plunges to depths of over 200 feet, creating a cold water fishery where bald eagles hunt above what used to be dry prairie. Fact 25, the underground fires of the Badlands. Deep within Theodore Roosevelt National Park, the ground is literally burning. Layers of lignite coal, trapped beneath sandstone and clay, can catch fire from a single lightning strike or even spontaneous combustion. These subterranean fires can smolder for decades, creeping slowly beneath the surface. The intense heat bakes the clay into a hard, bright red rock called clinker. If you walk near an active vein, you can see smoke rising directly from cracks in the earth and smell the sulfur, a stark reminder that the plains are still being shaped by fire. Fact 24, the sacred hill of the spirits rising from the flat southeastern plains of South Dakota is Spirit Mound. Formed during the last ice age, this isolated hill was held in deep reverence and fear by the Omaha, Oto, and Sioux tribes. Legends spoke of tiny aggressive spirits who would strike down anyone who dared to approach. In 1804, Lewis and Clark hiked miles in the summer heat to investigate these spirits. They found no ghosts, but from the summit, they documented a breathtaking sea of buffalo, a view that remains a spiritual anchor for the region today. Fact 23, the violent diversion of the Little Missouri. Millions of years ago, the Little Missouri River flowed north toward Hudson Bay. But the Ice Age changed everything. Massive continental glaciers, over a mile thick, acted as a colossal dam, blocking the river's path and creating an enormous temporary lake. Eventually, the trapped water violently overtopped the landscape, carving a new channel eastward to join the Missouri River. This sudden, massive diversion triggered the deep erosion that created the rugged, beautiful canyons of the North Dakota Badlands we see today. Fact 22, the 22-mile loop of Big Bend along the Missouri River in South Dakota lies the Big Bend, a dramatic display of hydrological geometry. Here, the river loops around a massive peninsula, traveling 22 miles in a wide arc only to return to a point just 1 mile from where it started. In the 19th century, steamboat passengers would get off at one side, spend a leisurely day walking across the narrow neck, and meet the boat hours later after it finished its grueling 22-mile journey around the bend. Fact 21, the abandoned trench of McCluskey. The McCluskey Canal stands as a haunting symbol of failed human engineering. Conceived to carry water across 74 miles of North Dakota prairie, it inadvertently threatened to connect two completely separate river systems, the Missouri Basin and the Hudson Bay watershed. This raised international alarms about invasive species and parasites crossing borders. After decades of legal disputes and millions of cubic yards of excavation, major sections were abandoned. Today, it remains a colossal, water-filled trench, a slash across the landscape that serves only as a refuge for nesting waterfowl. Fact 20, the Mammoth Trap of Hot Springs. 26,000 years ago, a limestone cavern collapsed in southwestern South Dakota, creating a steep, water-filled sinkhole fed by warm springs. Mammoths, lured by the lush winter greenery at the edge of the warm water, slipped on the slick shale banks and found themselves trapped. Over centuries, more than 60 mammoths met their end here. Discovered by accident in 1974, this site is now a world-class museum where the bones of these prehistoric giants remain exactly where they fell, frozen in a natural tragedy. Fact 19, the glacial delta of the Cheyenne. The Cheyenne National Grassland is a remnant of a vanished world. 12,000 years ago, as glacial lake Agassiz receded, it left behind billions of tons of sand. Persistent winds sculpted these deposits into rolling dunes, creating a unique sandy habitat in the middle of the flat plains. Today, this 100,000-acre delta supports the endangered western prairie fringed orchid and the greater prairie chicken, species that thrive exclusively in this specialized, ancient landscape. Fact 18. The Crimson Springs of Sikahalo. The name itself means bad or evil in the Dakota language. This deep ravine in South Dakota is home to eerie phenomena. During certain times of year, decomposing matter produces foxfire, a faint green phosphorescent light that glows in the dark woods. More unsettling are the springs saturated with iron ore, which stain the water a deep rusty crimson. To the early indigenous people, these red springs looked like the lifeblood of the earth itself, cementing the hollow's reputation as a place of the supernatural. Fact 17. The boundary of a vanished sea. The Pembina Escarpment in North Dakota is the shoreline of a ghost lake. This steep ridge rises several hundred feet, marking exactly where the waters of Glacial Lake Agassiz once ended 11,000 years ago. While the valley below is exceptionally flat, the top of the ridge transitions into dense oak forests. For centuries, this elevated ridge served as a dry highway for native peoples and fur traders, allowing them to bypass the swampy lowlands while keeping a watchful eye on the vast horizon. Fact 16. The colossal arrowhead of the plains. The Coteau des Prairies is a massive arrow-shaped plateau in eastern South Dakota, so large it's clearly visible from space. Sculpted by glaciers that split into two separate lobes, this highland rises 800 feet above the surrounding valleys. Its flat top is dotted with thousands of natural glacial lakes, creating a vital breeding ground for migratory waterfowl. It stands as a natural barrier, influencing wind patterns in the very paths pioneers took as they moved west. Fact 15. The summer refrigerator hidden within the clay canyons of North Dakota are the ice caves. These are subterranean fissures where massive blocks of sandstone have slumped away from cliffs, creating deep, shaded crevices. During the brutal winters, snow and ice pack into these narrow gaps. Because sandstone is a powerful thermal insulator, the ice remains frozen deep into the summer, even when surface temperatures soar past 90 degrees. It is a hidden, frozen vestige of winter concealed in the summer heat. Fact 14. From deep gold to deep science. The Homestake Mine in South Dakota was once the largest and deepest gold mine in North America, reaching 8,000 feet underground. But its most extraordinary legacy isn't gold, it's physics. Deep within the mine, shielded from cosmic radiation by miles of rock, scientists built a massive tank to capture solar neutrinos. This research earned a Nobel Prize and transformed an old gold mine into a world-renowned facility dedicated to dark matter and the deepest secrets of the universe. Fact 13. The forested oasis of the Turtles. The Turtle Mountains rise unexpectedly from the flat wheat fields of the North Dakota-Canada border. This isn't a mountain range but a high glaciated plateau covered in birch and aspen forests. It is an island of biodiversity, home to moose and loons that are entirely absent from the surrounding plains. Hidden here is the International Peace Garden, a park established in 1932 to symbolize the friendship between two nations, blending geography with human harmony. Fact 12. The Pink Cliffs of Sioux Quartzite. In the heart of Sioux Falls, the Big Sioux River plunges over massive pink rock formations. These cliffs are made of Sioux Quartzite, a metamorphic rock over 1 billion years old. It is so hard that it resisted the glaciers that flattened everything else. Early settlers recognized its value, quarrying this pink stone to build the historic churches and streets that still define the region's architecture today. Fact 11. The capped mesas of the Killdeers. The Killdeer Mountains are elevated, flat-topped mesas that rise 700 feet above the North Dakota prairie. They are the stubborn remnants of an ancient valley floor, protected from erosion by a hard cap of volcanic ash and limestone. These elevated islands support dense forests of bur oak and hazelwood, creating a specialized ecological haven for wildlife that is completely cut off from the sea of prairie grass below. Fact 10. The 2-minute flash of spearfish. On January 22, 1943, the town of Spearfish, South Dakota, witnessed a world record. At 7:30 a.m., the temperature was a freezing -4 degrees. Then, a powerful Chinook wind descended from the Black Hills. In just 2 minutes, the temperature skyrocketed 49 degrees, reaching 45 degrees above zero. Glass windows shattered from the thermal shock, and ice on the streets melted instantly. It remains the fastest temperature change ever documented in history. Fact 9. The double-crossing loops of the Souris River, or Mouse River, follows a strange international path. It originates in Canada, flows south into North Dakota, makes a massive 80-mile loop, and then turns back north to cross into Canada again. This double international crossing creates complex challenges for water management and flood control between two countries, all driven by the flat glacial geology of the valley. Fact 8. The jagged spine of the Badlands Wall. The Badlands Wall is a 100-mile cliff face that forms a stark, jagged spine across South Dakota. Wind and water strip away an inch of rock every year, carving an intricate maze of spires and canyons. This wall was a formidable barrier for early native tribes and migrating herds, revealing a detailed chronological record of ancient environmental transitions in its colorful mineral bands. Fact 7. The swallowing basin of Devil's Lake. Devil's Lake in North Dakota is a closed basin. It has no natural outlet. Its size depends entirely on rainfall and evaporation. In recent decades, heavy rain caused the lake to rise over 30 feet, swallowing thousands of acres of farmland and entireties. Within a single generation, the lake tripled in size, forcing hundreds of millions of dollars in emergency engineering to stop the rising tide. Fact 6. The sea monsters of Pierre Shale. 75 million years ago, the Dakotas were the bottom of a massive inland ocean called the Western Interior Seaway. Today, the Pierre Shale in central South Dakota reveals the skeletons of the monsters that ruled those waters: 50-foot mosasaurs and long-necked plesiosaurs. As the Missouri River bluffs erode, they continuously expose a prehistoric underwater world that once covered the entire American heartland. Fact 5. The astronomical thermal duality. North Dakota experiences some of the most extreme temperature swings on the planet. Isolated from any ocean, its climate is purely continental. In winter, temperatures can drop to -60 degrees Fahrenheit. In summer, they can soar to over 120 degrees. This 180-degree variance forces local wildlife to develop incredible physiological survival mechanisms just to endure a single calendar year. Fact 4. The heart of the 50 states. Just outside Belle Fourche, South Dakota, lies a quiet pasture that is the exact scientific center of the 50 United States. After Alaska and Hawaii joined the Union in 1959, surveyors calculated this spot as the new mathematical balance point. Standing at these precise coordinates, you are at the literal heart of the nation, connecting tropical islands and Arctic tundras in a single prairie spot. Fact 3. The Forgotten Pines of Slope County, deep in southwestern North Dakota, is a botanical anomaly, a grove of ponderosa pines. These are the furthest northeastern pines of their kind, separated from the Rocky Mountain forests by hundreds of miles of dry prairie. They survive here because of a unique pocket of sandy soil and steep ravines that trap moisture, a biological island preserved by microgeography. Fact 2. The last unchanged currents. The Missouri National Recreational River is a living laboratory. While most of the Missouri River has been dammed and channelized, these stretches remain free-flowing and unchannelized. With shifting sandbars and cottonwood forests, it is the only place left where you can see the river exactly as it looked when Lewis and Clark first paddled its waters centuries ago. Fact 1. The flattest land on Earth. Finally, the Red River Valley. This is the ancient bed of glacial Lake Agassiz, and it is one of the flattest expanses on Earth. The ground slopes a mere few inches per mile, creating a horizon that feels endless. This extreme flatness makes the valley some of the most fertile agricultural land in the world, while simultaneously presenting a perpetual flood challenge that has defined the history of the northern plains.